Mark Dunning, you've had time to reflect on what you saw at Dewsbury on Sunday. Your thoughts again, please?
Yeah, much similar, mate. Really happy with spells of the game. Plenty to work on, and a solid exercise that we've come through, unscathed with. So, that's a massive box ticks for any pre-season trial game.
Is it fair to say a lot of focus prior to that game was going to be on, you've got Jordan Lilly, Tom Holmes, Dec Patton, 3 into 2 doesn't go, but after Miles Lawford and what he did on Sunday, it's fair to include Miles Lawford now firmly in, that sort of shirt grabbing, he wants to be starting?
Mate, it's never been 3 into 2 for me, it's always been 4 into 2 because I know what Miles is about, I trust him, I value him, and you know what we're like for our homegrown players as well. If we get one through, we like to look after them as well, and rightly so. So, yeah, Miles is always in the mix. I thought it was very good in spells on Sunday. A couple of areas that we showed him on video on Tuesday where he can be better. But there's everybody across the park that was like that. We had spells of and glimpses of really good stuff, and then little minor details where we can be better. But nobody in rugby league is absolutely 100% in the first trial game that play this season. So yeah, really content with everything, and yeah, it's my headache to make 4 into whatever fit.
I'm guessing it's a welcome headache, Mark. It's a nice headache to have.
I tell you what, at times last year I'd have bit your hand off if you'd have given me 4 halfbacks. You look at the last 8 weeks of last year. I think we played without spine. So with young George making his debut and playing in there at fullback. With people like Sammy Alice, who massive credit to him, did as a job at half, and we couldn't buy a halfback. We just couldn't get one to stay on the field. So yeah, if you'd have given me 4 at the back end of last year, I don't think the 9th position would have been as it was, and I'd have certainly bit your hand off. And yeah, it's brilliant to see now. It's really good. They get on really well. Although there's a competitive hedge between the 4 of them, they're absolutely fighting for spots, but there's mutual respect between all 4 as well, and it's great to see.
Dec Patton served his final match suspension against Dewsbury. Will he be featuring against Huddersfield on Sunday?
Yeah, Dec will play at some point. Yeah.
Do we know if he's going to start yet, or is that part of your enigma?
Yeah, we've got a few more things to check out tonight, and we'll train again on Saturday morning as well. We're still in pre-season. It's really important that we remember that. Not on a normal week by week basis, you go, Thursday night and then a team run Saturday morning. But we're still training, so we'll have a look Thursday. We'll have a look Saturday morning, and then we'll make some decisions then.
One thing that was evident to my eye was the team that played on Sunday did look a lot fitter, Mark. Is that something you're focused on this season in terms of pre-season? Everybody working hard to get to the required fitness level, which obviously you as head coach deem necessary for a successful season?
Yeah, absolutely. I sat down with Kane Daniels, who was our head of S&C, and we sat down at the back end of last year, and I gave him a plan. I gave him a structure to work to of what I wanted the team to look like, how I wanted to play the game, and from that it's allowed Kane to devise what he needed within the gym and on the field at times as well. So it's been a team effort to get the boys in the condition they're in, and I'm really happy with where they're at for now. And there's improvements, still some improvements in some of them, and big improvements in some of them as well. But yeah, they'll look more like a rugby league team on Sunday than they did at the back end of last year.
I think you mentioned after the game no injuries. Is that still standing?
Yeah, like I said, Brad England took one in the ribs there at the back end of the game, and we took him off immediately because it was a trial game, so there's no risks. He was a bit sore on Tuesday night, and we'll see how he is when he comes in tonight. But I don't think it's anything to worry about, and everybody else is absolutely fine. Yeah.
Huddersfield at Odsal on Sunday. I think you said last week 25. You might trim that down a little bit this week. Is that still the case?
Yeah, I don't think we'll take 25, Mick. It's really busy. You're trying your best to be respectful to people that's on the bench and give them as much time as possible. You're also trying to be as respectful to the jumper as possible, and not just give shirts away and flood the field with a number of changes at once. So Yeah, I think we'll cut the numbers down. Not quite sure just how many yet, but yeah, there certainly won't be as many as 25, and we'll try and give some people a little bit more time together just to fine tune them combinations.
To those younger players, I'm probably talking Bailey Arnold, Lewis Camden, Harry Gray, Jayden Barraclough. Obviously, they might not make the cut this weekend. They've had very limited game time, probably, to impress you. What's the message to those players?
Oh no, they've had loads of time to impress me because you know, the way we work is our reserve grade trains with our first team. You know, so it allows us to do plenty of 13 on 13 throughout the week, and it allows us as a staff to have a look at these blokes in that environment as well. And you know, the vast majority have conducted themselves really well through pre-season. Hence the fact that Jayden Myers ended up with a squad number. You know, that would not have happened because you know he would have been training with the reserves at the start of pre-season, and you know, we wouldn't have seen what we've seen from Jayden. So yeah, they've had plenty of time to show me what they've got. You know, none of them are out of our thoughts. However, some of them are a little bit, you know, further forward on their journeys. You know, and that's what development's about. That's what youth development's about. You know, it's about nurturing these people, taking time with them, not rushing them, and making sure when they do hit the stage, they're ready to dance.
Just on Jayden Myers, is what he's done this pre-season similar to what AJ Wallace did last season? Come in, really train hard, and be fully deserving of a squad number?
Yeah, very similar. You know, so as I say, me and Kane sat down in pre-season and we had a meeting, and then you know, the other staff got involved, and even when I was away with Scotland, we were having Zoom calls about what pre-season looks like, and every player got a weight that they had to a return to training weight. Everybody got around one weight that they needed to be at. You know, we've got certain targets within the testing structure that if people want to play in the first team at this club, they've got to hit, and it's a way of holding people accountable, and yeah, it's been very, very good so far, and hopefully it continues. But Jayden's absolutely smashed these targets that he's had. It's looked really, really well in the rugby side of things that we've done, and yeah, it's a good thing is he's earned the respect of his senior pros, which is always good within a team sport.
Huddersfield on Sunday again, Mark. What are you expecting from Ian Watson's side, and how much of a challenge is it going to be?
Yeah, they've got a quality squad, haven't they? You've just got to look on paper when they put the squad numbers out from 1 to, I think they've got 36 jumpers full. Yeah, whoever they bring, and you know, whoever comes to Wadsall at the weekend, they've nothing but quality. So it'll be a big test for us. It'll be a big step up from last week. And again, it's pre-season. You know, it's not about results. It's about processes and fine-tuning some things and looking at minor details. So it'll be really interesting to see where we're at.
Have you spoken to Ian about how many players he's going to bring? And I presume he's going to look at this game on Sunday, similar to how you looked at the Dewsbury game.
Yeah, I think I'll look at it similar. I speak to Ian quite regular. You know, I get on well with Ian, and we've obviously got a good relationship with Huddersfield, where we've got a couple of their blokes on loan as well. So George Roble will actually play for Huddersfield at the weekend. Ian wants to use him in their squad, and then he'll join up with us the week after. And I had a lengthy chat with him at the beginning of the week about Fenton and how Fenny went for us against Dewsbury. And you know, part of the responsibility of taking people's players on loan is that you've got to commit to help them develop their players. You know, that's why they're sending him here. So you know, I've got an indication of what Ian Watson and Huddersfield are looking for Fenton to do across this year, and I'll do my best to help Fenton and Huddersfield achieve that.
It seems like Ian Watson's really on the pulse, you know, looking at the players that he's going to send here, which perhaps hasn't always been the case. I think back probably to when Mikey Wood was on loan from Huddersfield here, he never had a phone call off the head coach.
I don't know about that, man. I don't know, I wasn't involved in that, but yeah, Ian's on the pulse. You know, he's a rugby league man through and through, and as I say, I speak to him regular, and he's very respectful of us as a club as well. So yeah, it's a good relationship, and it's one that's working very well.
Kevin Appo, Mark, is he an update on Kevin?
I think he's in Port Moresby as we speak, and he's hopefully going to be sending me a text. He sent me one about 4 o'clock this morning, which I don't think he realised what time it was over here. But yeah, he's just waiting for the golden ticket to get on the Big Bird and come and experience some of the West Yorkshire snow.
Is there any concerns that he might not be here for season start against Whitehaven?
No, not yet. No, it's just a process with visas that takes time. And as I say, he's in Port Moresby now, just waiting for that visa to be ticked off, and then he gets on the plane and over he comes. So I'm hoping that he'll be here very, very soon.
On the subject of players coming in, Mark, props, obviously, you mentioned, you've got irons in the fire, you're having a look. Some people in the media seem to suspect Josh Jones might be one of those. Any comment on that?
People in the media, never let the truth get away with a good tale, Mickey. I've never said we're in the market for anything other than players. So we're in the market. We're in the market for a couple of players, and if they're the right players that fit the group, and it's an exercise that the board can do, then great, we'll do it. But I'm certainly not going to discuss any of our targets in the media. It'd be disrespectful to do that when they're not our players. So we'll just do our business as we've done all pre-season. We'll do it quietly. We'll do it diligently. And when there's something to announce, mate, I'll let you know.
And just on this agreement with Leeds, am I right in saying any players that are going to come from Leeds is likely to be after that pre-season game a week on Sunday at Headingley?
Yeah, there'll be nobody play for Bradford against Leeds. Absolutely not. Again, I had a good meeting with Rowan yesterday, and Rowan Smith, another bloke I get on very well with, and we discussed the dual reg. We discussed where Leeds are at the moment in time, and how we might work that, and that'll stay confidential as well because it's a respect thing. But yeah, everything's as it should be. Leeds have got a game against us next weekend, and then I think they play Hull KR the week after when we play Whitehaven. So they've still got some commitments to fulfil at their end, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. But it's an ongoing relationship. Myself and Nob get on very, very well with Rowan, and the board of directors at Bradford and at Leeds get on very well as well. So there's no worries there.
Will that agreement work both ways, Mark? I know it might sound crazy to say it, but will that agreement work both ways?
I think for any agreement to work, there's got to be, a mutual benefit for both people. I don't see Rowan knocking on the door to dual reg any of our players the other way as yet. But who knows down the line? It's a bigger relationship than just dual reg and borrowing players. There's the stuff off the field that the foundations are doing, and trying to increase participation in the sport in both areas, and there's a lot of hard work going on by some real quality people from both clubs. So yeah, there's a lot more to it than just borrowing players. But yeah, never say never, Mick, because it can bite you on the backside if you do.
Of the players that didn't play last week, there was 10 missing. Obviously, we know Kevin's waiting for his visa in Port Moresby. How many of the other 9 are potentially back? Well, we know Evan Skur's not going to be back. We know Deck's back. That takes us down to 7.
Yeah, Evan Skur's still suspended. George Flanagan should be somewhere near. Deck Patton's available, and we'll have a look tonight and Saturday in training on where he's at. We touch and go with some of the others. It's borderline, but I'm not willing to risk anybody that's a doubt or anybody that could increase further illness or injury. So we'll get some checks on people, Mick, and anybody that plays will be 100% ready to play.
And just finally, Mark, on the goal kicking, Miles 5 from 6 at the weekend. Obviously, we know that Patton can kick goals. In the past, it's been well documented. Bradford have struggled with a goal kicker in certain close, tight games. What's the message to Miles, Deck? Is it wide open? Who's going to be kicking come season start, or have you made a decision on that already?
Whoever puts it between the H's the most, mate. It's as simple as that. You've got to. People like Miles, when you're trying to create a player and you're trying to develop a player, you've got to put some trust in that boy as well. And he had the balls in the change rooms. I'll kick goals today. All right, crack on, kick some goals in. He practices. His attention to detail within his game's good, and he kicked 5 from 6, which is a decent return. Deck had a wonderful season last year with the boot. He was right up there in his conversion stats. Jordan Lilley can kick goals. Tom Holmes can kick goals. And I'm led to believe by two lads from the cast bus that both Ben Blackmore and Kieran Gill can kick goals. However, I don't think they were kicking goals at the weekend. So there's plenty, there's plenty of lads that are willing to put their hand up, and that just shows the confidence of the group. Whereas, when Deck were missing last year, and you're looking around saying, who's confident in kicking goals, it was a bit like tumbleweed at times.